Meet Brendon, the adventure-loving, risk-taking entrepreneur who's redefining success in Technicolor. This Texas native is not just thinking outside the box, he's building entire universes of opportunity. Brendon's entrepreneurial journey is a roller coaster of innovation and determination. From identifying market gaps to balancing creativity with business skills, he's mastered the art of turning ideas into thriving ventures. His secret, embracing failure as a stepping stone to success. But when the sun goes down, Brendon transforms into a music maestro. As both Radwolf and Smooth Talk, he's killing it in the DJ booth and the production studio. He's poured countless hours into perfecting his craft, mastering complex music production software, and perfecting his sound. Not content with just creating great music, Brendon took it a step further by teaching himself how to create stunning visualizers for his YouTube music videos. This blend of audio and visual creativity adds another layer to his artistic expression. What's truly impressive is how Brendon combines these skills with his talent for event organization. He doesn't just make the music, he creates entire experiences, bringing together his production skills, visual artistry, and event management expertise to craft unforgettable moments for his audience. Brendon's passport is a storybook of global adventures. From beach parties in Bali to brainstorming sessions in Tokyo, he's turning every trip into a masterclass in life and business. Each destination is a new chapter in his personal guidebook to success, shaping his perspective on life and entrepreneurship. But Brendon's not just about personal gain. With Crown Agency, he's building a supportive community for online creators. His mission is to foster an engaging environment where creators can thrive, share ideas, and push the boundaries of digital content. As if that wasn't enough, Brendon's latest venture has him behind the mic as a podcast host. It's just another way he's amplifying voices and spreading knowledge. At his core, Brendon is a connector of people and ideas. Whether he's DJing the night away, ordering late-night munchies for the squad, brainstorming business strategies, or simply flashing that infectious smile, his positive energy is contagious. He surrounds himself with like-minded individuals who share his zest for life and big dreams. His journey shows that if you stay curious, never give up, and genuinely care about making a difference, you can do some pretty incredible things. So grab your favorite drink, Brendon's probably already ordered one for you, and let's take a peek into the life of Brendon Boldt. It's a journey of relentless exploration, creativity, and community building that you won't want to miss. Brendon, welcome to the Festival Network. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy.
You don't look that happy.
I'm a little starstruck because usually I see you on the screen and now I'm here with you in person.
Aww.
Wow, famous people.
But we've been friends for a while, so, I was starstruck when I met you for the first time. I mean, in MJ's kitchen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good times.
That was such a fun night.
Good times, good people.
So Brendon is someone who is not afraid of failure. He's not afraid of trying new things and doing something that pushes the boundaries. When it comes to traveling or starting a new business concept, Brendon has years of experience.
Of failing, yeah.
We all do. On top of that, he has the most positive energy, someone so happy all the time whenever I'm around him. And he brings a light everywhere he goes. From ordering McDonald's at the after parties to smiling at you from across the room. He's just a great friend to have.
That's my best party trick. That's how I make the most friends. Like no matter what party you're at, buy a big thing of chicken nuggets, like 100 nuggets, and you always make all the friends in the world at any party.
Yeah, every single after party that we've been at, it's like 2 hours in, 4 a.m., just McDonald's shows up. There's chicken nuggets, fries, Coke, burgers, whatever you want. And then, you know, some people eat, and usually it's gone in like minutes.
That's like my way of telling people, yeah, you're not leaving. Like, you got everything you need here. You got food, you got friends.
That's so true. So let's dive into your entrepreneurial journey. You've got your fingers in so many pies, it's hard to keep track. From music production to event management, you're like a business chameleon. I'm super eager to know how you got started and what makes that brain of yours tick.
Yeah, so easy answer is ADD. It's my superpower. I used to think it was a bad thing when I was younger, and the more I've talked to more creatives that are like leaning on the edge of success, or they're already past and they consider themselves successful, they'll look back and say, my ability to juggle tasks and be interested and passionate about multiple things, and then finding a niche way to bring them all together, that's what I owe my success to. And an underlying tone there is like ADD kind of helps us with that, I like to think.
Okay. So you're like diagnosed ADD, or you say,
Yeah.
I feel like I get overwhelmed with like how many things I'm interested in, but then it's hard to really pick one and just like go and focus on that for a little while. So I do feel your pain on that. What inspired you to start your first business, and how did that experience shape your entrepreneurial journey?
I think I was one of those little kids that knew I was going to be an entrepreneur in some form or fashion. When I grew up, I did the college route, and I went to business school at a private university, Baylor. Go Sick'em Bears, go Bears. And then once I exited out of Baylor, I got my first corporate job where I learned project management. I got to really soak in the corporate appeal for what it's worth, and really get that pace down, that just pace of work.
Like the organizational skills.
Absolutely. From a much more broad perspective, like, oh, here's all the departments and that are, you know, each form a cog in the engine that is the company, how they contribute, how they work together, and then what it takes to like pull them all together to manage these things. How to manage projects, you know, tracking metrics and key performance indicators to know that you're doing something and moving in the right direction. And then after all of the corporate environment had fled, COVID happened, and I immediately exited, and I was like, okay, it's time for startups. I had a really awesome manager in the corporate world who taught me to fail fast and fail forward, back to the word fail.
Yeah.
I was talking about earlier. So I said, you know, let's throw a few darts with these businesses and see if we can hit a bullseye. And I know we're going to fail a bunch, but I surrounded myself with people that had all the necessary competencies. They had the drive to work. I cling to those kind of people. I think you're one of them as well. And shout out, I think Rocco's one of them as well. And, you know, if you surround yourself with good people and you have good intentions and you have the right work ethic, like, let's fail all day together. And like, we know something's going to work inevitably in the future.
Yeah. Failing is scary for a lot of people. You know, it's hard to think about like putting yourself out there and doing something that you don't know if it's going to work. And, you know, it does take a certain kind of person to get over that fear and be able to pursue something that you find value in, that someone else might find value in, and then combine that with making money. So
the hardest part.
Yes, that is the hardest part. How do you identify market gaps and opportunities for new business ventures?
There's a smart way to go about it. And that is just identifying, like you said, where the gaps are, mapping everything out and going, oh, here's an opportunity for a niche. And then there's a way that, you know, Steve Jobs went at it saying, like, make the product and the people will come. The market will appear after you create the product. And I think just kind of balancing both of those between like using your head and using your gut.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff most of the ventures that I pursue are just like creative ideas I had, and then I see how it fits into a particular niche or a particular market. And if I think it all lines up from there, my gut agrees with my head, like, let's go all in.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Some people don't know this about me, but whenever I was 23, I started a styling business, and I tried to find a market in Oklahoma where I could be a personal stylist and I could do closet cleans for people and then do personal shopping and help them build a wardrobe. And it was really challenging, even though I had this skill set and I knew that there were some, there was some opportunity there. It ended up not working out for me because it's such a niche, a niche market, and it's like a high value client. You have to have those two things come together. And for me at 23, with like not much business experience, I didn't have a lot, to help me go forward with it. And I was just like, yeah, this isn't working, I'm just going to move on to something else and learn from it. But it was super fun. So what was your first business that you started, and what were some challenges that you faced and things that you learned from that?
I think the first business that I built just from the ground up, mainly by myself, was this concept called Vibe House, where I saw a bunch of creators coming together in like Los Angeles, having different names with house, like Hype House or whatever house, and just building off of each other as creators, collaborating markets, and trying to build something new together, because the old saying, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, sort of thing. And when it comes to the entertainment industry, the best and biggest things happen when you put like the right creators together. So one of my buddies taught me about this concept called like the creator economy. And that is, if you do put the right creators together, you each grow each other's brand. You can help each other monetize. You can do all these things that you can't simply do as a creator by yourself. So the concept was to try to create a house where people came together, they created awesome things, music, TikTok content, whatever it may be. And then it ended up not working out due to just like the business structure. We didn't have a proper agreement set up with the investor. So contracts, I learned a little bit about contracts then. And then that immediately taught me where I wanted to move forward beyond then. So it was my first failure, I would say. And that like got me even more hyped up to go on to the next. Like once you get your first failure out of there, you're like, all right, that wasn't so bad. Let's go again.
I agree with that, because it's like you learn so much, and then you can take all of that knowledge and then put it into a new idea and make it even better. So you're clearly a risk taker. What's the biggest oh shit moment that you've had in your journey?
There's been a lot of good oh shit moments, and there's been a lot of bad oh shit moments. I can talk about like one of the most over my head moments that I think you might be interested in is when we were at Baylor. One of my buddies came to me, Ben, and he was like, let's throw a festival. We're going to throw a festival. And I was like, all right. Coming from somebody that like threw all the fraternity parties, I was scoped in. I was like, okay, how hard can this be? We'll probably have like a stage. And Ben was like, no, it's going to be bigger than that. I was like, all right. So they came to me with this concept called Electric River. And immediately I could tell these guys like had full intentions of like going all in on it. And I was like, all right, let me follow these guys and just like see what happens. So did
they have experience putting on events or festivals?
No.
Okay.
They were like me. They'd thrown some parties in the past, but they were going about it with the right business minds. They were planning. They were believing in their plan like a child, but they were planning like an adult. So like the best of both worlds to stay hooked on something creative, a creative idea. So they ended up pulling in the right people. They landed an investor, really awesome guy, Jason Millsap, and then immediately after that, we started pulling in people who knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
So just kind of like making it happen the right way.
People that believed in you and your vision.
The people with competencies, the people with experience. And then before you know it, we were out there actually setting up on the ground. There were so many huge problems that were thrown our way that were extremely stressful, but one person on our team could always handle something. But it was a $1 million project.
Wow.
And we were out there just like 3 college kids plus like all the team stacked on top of them. And I couldn't take credit for much of anything that was done, but the fact that we were there rolling through that entire process from concept to execution was a great, oh shit experience. Like, this is good, definitely in over my head.
Yeah.
But that moment just led me on to insane opportunities working with, immediately after that, we got booked to throw a Travis Scott show. So we got tied in with Travis's team through a couple of shows around there in Dallas. And ever since that, we've just been kind of riding the high of being over our head, but executing as best as we can and being smart about things, taking calculated risks. So.
Yeah, that sounds intimidating. And I mean, I've never attempted to do anything that big, but from what I do know about putting on events and festivals, there is a lot that can go wrong. So I can only imagine like what you witnessed or, experienced in that time.
Everything going wrong, and then but it ends up being okay, and you keep a positive attitude about it and stay
So
realistic.
The festival happened.
Yeah.
It was a success.
Yes. The first year of realistically every festival always loses a little bit of money. We lost money, and then now I think we're going on year number 7 or 8. So Electric River ended up turning into Illfest, which was recently acquired by Disco Donnie, and that's when you know you've done a good job. So Donnie's obviously going to take the festival to great places. He had his first year doing it. And I've worked with Donnie multiple times. He has a great team. It's a startup mindset. You're more agile. He's not quite to where Insomniac is yet, but he has it in the bullseye.
Yeah.
He's looking to take over a lot of market share, as you can see by like Silo that's opening in Dallas. So
I was really excited to see Silo open up. So are you still part of that festival then, like as part owner, or you guys sold it off to Disco Donnie?
I wish I had any equity in that, but I did not. It was all a learning experience for me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I have worked with numerous other festivals, a couple of Burns, Miami, all around. I've made a lot of friends, a lot of creative people that have found a way to take their odd passions and turn it into monetization, like through the festivals. It's almost like a circus. And you have, these people are interestingly good at this thing, and you just put all these people together into an entertainment, and
that's a good way to put it. It's like a combination of circus and fair and music and entertainment, and people that are just like fun loving and ambitious and eclectic, I would say.
Perfect word.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you is always the number one business advice that any CEO will give or should give. Find a way to monetize, make it make sense before you invest too much in any creative ordeal. There's always a cheaper way to prototype what your idea is. And no matter what, the people that you're surrounded with when you start a creative endeavor are not the people that are going to help you, that are going to support you till the end, as far as like, you're not going to blow up in your hometown. So the people that do blow up in creative ways, it's always them posting themselves on social media and people from around the world going, whoa, that's unique and cool. It's not the friends and family. They're going to be healthy about critiquing you and saying, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Like, let's be smart. Let's be like financially stable. But I think that's the importance of always posting anything that you can on social media if it's creative.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice. So not staying within the boundaries and the limitations of where you were raised and kind of that mindset of like, I can only go so far here. You have to think bigger.
Yeah, my dad and mom raised me playing tons of different instruments, and they're always like, he's going to be a country star. He's from Dallas, Texas.
I can only imagine.
Music. I'm a cowboy on the inside,
yeah.
But externally, I love synths. I love electronic things, technology and softwares. So I feel like someday I may come back and do something a little more country inspired. That seems to be where the music industry is going anyway.
It kind of is. Yeah, which I've been surprised at seeing all of that. Like the country, the hip hop, like it seems like all of the genres are kind of starting to just like go in with EDM now.
Mm-hmm. Just all a big mesh.
Yeah, which I don't know. I kind of love it. I kind of don't, because like I like the EDM scene just like having its own vibe. You know what I mean? Like other people don't really get it. I'm sorry, they just don't. But that's another conversation.
But on with that, I do think some great aspects from some other festival cultures are meshing well with EDM now. We briefly a second ago kind of covered the topic of how the landscape is changing for festivals nowadays.
Yeah.
Totally different demand. There's a way more wholesome and a way more healthy approach to how you celebrate in, I wouldn't call it rave culture, let's call it festival culture.
Okay.
And I do know that a lot of the festivals that are shifting gears and really prioritizing, hey, let's have fun doing outdoorsy things in a positive atmosphere with like good people, is currently beating the, hey, let's go to this dark festival and do a lot of drugs and stuff.
Yeah, do a lot of stuff that's not good for us.
Yeah, the demand is slowly shifting, and it's interesting to see where that's going to go in the future.
Well, my experience at country festivals, because again, like I'm from Oklahoma, I also grew up listening to country music. I went to those, the Calf Fry Festival. I don't know if you've ever heard of
there.
it. Yeah.
Love me some Calf Fry.
But I did not love it. Like there was a ton of fighting, a lot of just like alcohol and like testosterone, and it wasn't very good vibes. So that can stay out.
Yeah.
But the other stuff that you're talking about, you know, like the outdoor settings that are encouraging like positive habits and just having fun, I think that's all great.
Mm-hmm.
So one last question about your entrepreneurial journey. And you know, we go to the club, we're going to dinners, we're networking. Sometimes there's alcohol involved. What's your best way to remember people's names after you've had a few drinks?
Oh man, I'm so good at remembering people's names. At the day that it happens, I'll like repeat it in my head multiple times. Like, oh, Sean, Deborah, Vicky, Sean, Deborah, Vicky. Like in my head quietly, but the next day, it's all gone. And I don't know if that's like a proponent of like drinking alcohol and just like, you know, forgetting stuff overnight. But yeah, that's my main technique. When I shake people's hands, I'll try to list them one after another, and then I'll do it every 30 seconds or so. Every time I take a sip of the drink, I'll like look around and try to remember people's names.
Okay.
But I'm not great at it. That's just my strategy.
Well, I think that's good. Yeah. Because I'm terrible at remembering people's names, and you know, you have to make a really good impression. If like I'm gonna remember your name, that's just me personally. Mm-hmm. But there's so many, like if you're meeting like 50 people in one night, it can be hard. It can be. So you've been killing it as a DJ and producer, and I'm dying to talk more about your DJ personas. You have a little bit of two worlds going on. Can you tell me a little bit about your Smooth Talk and your Rad Wolf projects?
Yeah, so Rad Wolf started in college. I've been going at it for a very long time, and it's by far been the most creative outlet I've ever had as an entrepreneur, as a person, as a creative. And it has slowly like transformed into this. First of all, let me just preface this by saying I love the art of storytelling. Mm-hmm. I love like creating immersive experiences for people, melding in like audio with visual and live events. All of these things I really enjoy as a person, as you can tell by, you're the same way, as we're both involved in the festival industry.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find a way to kind of drag all these things together with Rad Wolf through storytelling. But it has ended up being one of the most complicated things ever, because I made all these rules for how this artist brand should be portrayed on social media, in real life, whatever. So he's got the goggles that we 3D printed, and
he has a whole story.
Whole storyline, whole trilogy. I wrote the trilogy of Rad Wolf before I even released his first song. So now it's gotten to the point where I've done a ton of releases. I've performed at many international festivals. And then it was so complicated to make all these ends meet that now we're just shifting Rad Wolf to be kind of the Spider-Man character, right? And I'm just going to be Stan Lee, the creator.
Oh, okay.
So we've started this animated series. I know it sounds corny, but it's super fun. We have a bunch of amazing voiceover artists. We've recorded like an intro to it.
So you're creating like almost a cartoon? Correct.
Yeah, right now it's a comic manga. And we're closely working in partnership with studios like Funimation, which if you've ever seen like Dragon Ball Z or anything like that in the past. So we're like slowly tinkering and pushing this along.
Yeah.
And it's been a really fun thing. So, but I also get a bunch of booking requests like, hey, can you DJ, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if I wear the goggles, it's going to be this much money, and I got to do this and this, and I got to have lasers, and I got to do X, Y, Z. And they're like, well, can you just do like a chill version of that? So I've had a lot of demand for that over the years. And I'm like, why don't I just start a side project that's way more laid back? It's super easy. I can just post whatever I want as far as content goes, and I can actually talk to the people and be myself, be authentic. So that's where Smooth Talk came from. And now he's just kind of like, he's like seen an explosion of his own recently, and I'm have a lot of big news coming our way with Smooth Talk, but I don't want to like shoot myself in the foot and say big things coming. I'd rather kind of just act it into existence rather than talking about it.
I do love all of the visualizers that you've been creating for Rad Wolf songs, and I love the deep house vibe. Can you tell me how you, like the process on creating those videos? Like, do you use AI? Do you just do everything in Adobe? Like, what's the breakdown process for that?
So as far as visual creation goes, I have tried a plethora of approaches. I've used AI for one video, and all of the rest of them, I either create weird visuals on Blender by following other people's tutorials on YouTube, and I'll try to replicate what they're making, and I'm terrible at it, so mine always ends up looking different, which is also a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Kind of how my music happens too, like, oh, how do they do this? And I try to replicate it, but it sounds different, so that's like a sound that I stick with for whatever song that is. But I do also download other images other videos from online, just like party visuals or whatever. Yeah. And then there's a way that you can mesh them by how they blend in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I just blend them and like pull them in and out, kind of like I'm using Resolume. One of my good buddies does all the visuals. He VJs for Steve Aoki. So when I first started my Rad Wolf project, I was like, hey, do you have any extra visuals? He was like, I got you, bro. So he like threw me a pack of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I paid a little bit of money, but yeah. There was some value trade there.
That's sick. Hell yeah.
So I have some assets that I can still use that are specific to Rad Wolf, and I have a video designer as well if I want something specific to look really good.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched all the videos on your YouTube, and I honestly, my favorite one, I don't know the name of the song, so forgive me, but it's the one where you have people dancing.
Oh, the very first song.
Yeah, one of the very first songs that you did.
That was the very first music video we ever made for Down, and that was the most expensive music video.
It's such a vibe.
And I had so much fun working with, the film team was great, the dancers were phenomenal. Chelsea and Cordell, shout out, they're amazing at what they do. I found them on Instagram, I was like, I gotta make a music video with them. But it ended up.
Were they local, or did you have to like travel to meet up with them?
No, I looked up Dallas dancing on Instagram tags, and they popped up first, and I was like, I like them. And then I hit them up. They agreed at like a reasonably low price because they were excited about the gig. But at the end, it was just so expensive to put that all together due to the filming and editing with a professional team. And I was like, we got to find a creative way to reduce that expenses. So ever since then, I've been making my own stuff.
Yeah. Would you ever consider doing that again now that you have a bigger network of people that, you could possibly use?
Definitely. So the way that I'd go about it now is I messed up early on as a music artist by focusing on everything too much except the music. I wanted the brand to be phenomenal, and it turned out that way.
Yeah.
But the music was like, all right, he has one song out. Like, what's going on? So now with this other Smooth Talk artist project, I'm definitely just planning it more around the music, and I'm not thinking anything else really too far down the line of like what the brand should be. Just like show up, laid back.
The vibes are going to be on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having faith, I suppose, that everything will meet up in the end is what I'm doing right now with Smooth Talk.
When's your next Smooth Talk show?
We're currently figuring that out. I've been booked for a wedding in Mexico coming up.
Ooh.
But there's also a short list of festivals international that Smooth Talk is going to be listed on that haven't been announced yet. And those festivals are bigger than any of them that Rad Wolf has been on. So I'm extremely excited to see how that works out.
Yeah.
But more to come on that.
Okay. Well, we'll keep a lookout then. And, I'll be sure whenever you do have a schedule or, if you are going to be local in the States, then we'll be sure to share those shows coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Since you just mentioned international, since you just mentioned international shows, you've been all over the world and back, like so many times. I was looking at all your highlights. I'm like, damn, how many times have you been to Asia? Like 10, 20? I don't even know. You probably lost count at this point. But I do want to really talk about traveling because that's something that I'm passionate about. And I think that a lot of people are passionate about. And it's one way that we can connect with people all over the world, not just through music, but sharing cultural experiences. Mm-hmm. What are some things that you've learned from traveling as much as you have?
So just to start with like a cliche saying, like if you have a flower and it's not blooming all the way, it's probably not the flower's fault, it's the environment. Like, is it getting the sunlight it needs? Is it getting the water that it needs? Not too much water, et cetera, et cetera. So I really love resetting my perspective by traveling and making sure that I can go out and always find new things and experience new things. Because if you're in the same city all the time, it kind of dampens your creative flow of things. You're not being inspired by new stuff that you've never experienced before. So when I'm in countries like Asia, down every new block, there's something that I've never seen before, and it stretches my creative brain in a new way. I can go, hey, there's a cool concept. Maybe I could combine this with that and like bring it back to America, and they'll love it. Because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs from outside of America bring concepts in that just do so well here.
Yeah.
And same vice versa. I've seen there's like a whole industry where they copy successful businesses in America and then they launch them internationally, externally under different brands, and then they do extremely well. So It's like the business person inside of me loves traveling. The creative inside of me loves traveling. It's great for all things.
Yeah. What's the most interesting place that you've been to?
The most interesting place that I've probably been to, I've been to Tokyo a lot, and I think I will continually go there just to relive that feeling that I felt the first time I was there, a complete reset of the mind. It was almost like I was tripping, but I was completely sober, just looking around and seeing
like another world,
completely parallel universe. The way that they operate is different. Their cultural norms are so different. The music they like is different.
Did you ever go to one of those robot shows? Like the giant, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I did. I walked by the robot, I forgot what it's called, Robot Museum or something, a couple of times.
Like where they're fighting or whatever?
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
Oh, okay. I saw that on like a documentary where they have these like giant robots and they're like in a ring fighting. So
that's another
next
thing.
time you go to Tokyo, you got to find it.
Or we should go together.
All
go to Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah, Japan is definitely on one of my lists. Thailand, you've been to Thailand several times. And yeah, honestly, just all of Asia seems really, really pretty and just, I don't know, unique, cool, love the food, all of that. Okay, so how do you manage your businesses when you're traveling and doing so much out of the country?
It's a great question. A lot of, back to the ADD conversation we were having, a lot of juggling. My to-do lists are very, very detailed, but I do have like 7 different to-do lists. And like this company has one to-do list. This company has, I currently have 3 companies.
Okay.
One of them's not doing so great. One of them's doing okay. And then the other one's doing exceptional. And I'm really working, the one that's not doing well, I think I really want it to work because I think it would be the best for the world. Somebody gave me a piece of advice recently, and it changed my perspective on why I do the things I do as far as being creative, being an entrepreneur. So they said, imagine what would you want your obituary to say when you passed away? And then from that point, live it backwards and like make that come true.
Wow.
And I knew that I want my obituary in some form or fashion to say he inspired other people to be creative. He was a great storyteller and had a colorful mind, whatever. That would be my ultimate end goal for success, is like making that obituary happen. So taking small steps back from there, I started the podcast, Go Create Podcast, whatever. Yeah. And I've learned a lot of what I'm doing. What did Tamara do for her podcast? That is now the network, the festival network. And how can I implement these things to really help people shine for the creative risks that they've taken? And even though people like you and I feel like we haven't quite reached that level of success we want to be at, it's important to look back and say, oh yeah, I have conquered all of these challenges, been through a bunch of great failures, but like it made me the creative that I am, and it taught me a bunch of valuable lessons I would have never learned. So how can I share those lessons with audience members that want to be more creative and just need a little bit of bravery and a little bit of encouragement?
Yeah. I have thought about what I would want to be remembered as or for, and it's such a big question. Like when you think about it, it's like, well, people don't view you the same way you view yourself. And I feel like we're harder on ourselves, or at least I am, like I have insecurities. I don't think I'm that great at a lot of things that other people might think I'm great at.
A little bit of imposter syndrome.
A bit of imposter syndrome. Same. And when people come up to me, or when I meet someone and they tell me I made an impact on their life, and they repeatedly tell me like in years to come, like it might be a year from the time I saw that person, and then they say like, this day we met, you told me this, and it really changed my life. And I'm just like, wow, like I didn't really think that that's what I was doing whenever I said that to you, or tried to just be a positive influence or give you a little bit of advice, because that's just who I am. Like I just want to make people feel like they can do their best, and that, we're all capable of achieving our dreams. And it's scary and it's hard, but you just have to stay positive and keep pushing, So, that's really good. And I'm going to try to also think more on that, because I think it would help me in my own journey just to write it out. Like, what do I want to be remembered for? And how can I do that in reverse to make sure that it happens if I were to die tomorrow, which let's not, hopefully that doesn't happen. Can you share an experience that you had while traveling that shaped your perspective on business?
Yes. So the different places that you go, people value different things in those locations, right? Like the value of water in one part of the world is much different than the value of water in another part of the world. So when you're born and raised, you learn certain things like these are a fact, this is a fact, but realistically, it's important to take all these facts that you know in a macro perspective and be like, okay, that's the facts for the location and the environment that I grew up in. So if I can take things that seem normal for me and bring this to a new location or a new environment where people see that it has value, like your chances for success there, for being creative and monetizing it and like blowing up a brand, is increased like tenfold, whatever. So when I did start traveling and I noticed people were listening to some strange music, and it's great music, but like I could tell the quality was different. They were listening to, even in Tokyo or Hong Kong, they listened to American music from the 80s and 90s religiously. And I'm not sure exactly why, but I loved it. So
it's like classic Americana.
Yes, exactly. And the effects of the entertainment industry from like America in the 90s, the 2000s, the Backstreet Boys, it's still living out and it's doing its own thing in like South Korea, where you have K-pop and it's just the Backstreet Boys, but they're bringing it back in a new cultural, revolutionized way. So I think just like bringing things that you see as mundane or normal to a new environment, like you'll realize that a lot of these things have value. So that's why I'm posting all my music on Radwolf's real success started out when I posted music on a platform that wasn't Spotify. It was called Palco MP3. And
Never
it was,
heard of it.
Neither had I. I just did a bunch of research, a bunch of Googling, me being nerdy late at night. And then I found Palco MP3. It's Brazil's #1 music streaming platform.
Okay.
I uploaded Radwolf to it and it got like 70,000 plays just the first few weeks of me putting one track on there. Because people don't want to pay for Spotify.
And then your ego, we're just going, I'm just kidding you.
Ego.
But no, you're like, wow, there's
an
an opportunity there. And, you know, you were able to share your art with someone who, if you just limited yourself, like we said earlier, like limiting yourself to your environment here, you wouldn't have even known that people in Brazil would like Radwolf as a, you know,
yeah, they're still one of my leading countries as far as like listeners go.
Have you performed there?
No, I wish.
Why not?
I don't know. It just I haven't made ends meet there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, because they, although they love music, they have holidays every month. I don't know if we could make the plane ticket make transactional sense.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and I wonder if they even have like venues that would be, you know, like set up in a way that would make sense for Radwolf too.
Yeah, we would make it happen. The audience would be there. It's definitely on the to-do
Maybe one
list.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you already have fans there, then if you promote it and plan it, you know, several months out, then I feel like that could be a huge success.
So after
there's an EDC in Brazil, isn't there?
There's a lot of huge electronic events. I'm not certain about EDC, but we should definitely go there after we go to Tokyo.
Yeah. We did talk a little bit about your experience in festivals and events, but I kind of want to shift to your other project, Crown Agency, and how you combine your knowledge and expertise from throwing events to now running an agency with creators. So how does that all come together? What's the story behind Crown Agency?
So I have this super smoking hot girlfriend, right? And we've tread into the market that is OnlyFans. I think like 6 or 5 years ago we started. And that has been a whole separate journey with not much overlap between that and the music festival industry.
Yeah.
Until recently, we had worked our way from agency to agency in that realm. And I learned so much about online marketing and running campaigns and like how you're measuring if your ads work and which targets to shoot for online and all the different industry strategies that people don't tell you about. And
yeah, it's like a secret or something.
Yeah, it's because they don't want you to know that they're advertising, not that they want to keep it away from you. So when something is posted, let's say on the news, like, oh, blah, 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 this person does this, like it's easy for you to tell like, oh, that's just an ad they paid to be there. But there's ways to hide your ads even deeper than that and do collaborations and just like a whole nother level of things that I never knew existed. And once you see it, you know from then on out, like, oh, they paid about $10K for that ad just to be mentioned one time or something.
So is it like combining like influencers with tons of followers with advertising and marketing, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. All of these good things combined into one business. And the real model of the business is kind of back to what we were trying to do with Vibe House, bringing all these creators, whether they're influencers, whether they're models, whether they're XYZ, no matter what their main platform is, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's YouTube, bringing all these people together and then creating a creator economy there where you trade value just by being yourself, and you create content together, you create music together, whatever it may be. So being able to leverage this new community that I've built, this community of influencers, models, whatever, and just pull that into the music world has been a whole new exciting adventure of its own. Because now I can say, hey, we're going to have Smooth Talk out there. We'll have like 4 models with him. Like, these are their Instagram accounts that are like over millions of followers, whatever. Gives me that much more leverage just to like be authentically my Smooth Talk self, because I'm always surrounded by like friends that are hot anyway, so I might as well go party with them and monetize that.
So how do you actually monetize that?
So festivals and events will not only pay the DJ to be there, but they'll pay hot girls to be the host of the event so that they repost it on their page.
How do I sign up for this?
Oh, just reach out to them and be like, are you looking for ambassadors? Or you can construct your question in a creative way to say, yeah, let me help you promote. And you can pay me to be there and interview the people that are in your festival. Because I think your festival has a gap, a market gap, where it needs people interviewing the artists and the fans.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do with my podcast right now. You know, there is a gap, and you know, I've only seen a few other people in the industry that have really tried to take on being a podcaster in the festival scene. And me being a music festival lover, I'm like, how can I combine the two? Because I want to hear people's stories. I want to learn. I want to help teach other people what's going on with these people, the journey, you know, how they can get into it if they want to. And let's go party at the same time. So that's really cool. So how do you foster the supportive community when you have all of these creatives coming together? There's a lot of big personalities that are coming in. You know, some people might not be nice. Like, how do you keep that positive energy in your community? So
that's a terrific question. We've been doing it for a while, right? And we have made so many friends, and the friends that haven't been easy to get along with have weeded themselves out. And when it comes to the entertainment industry, there's also a ton of scam artists. It's not like the corporate world. So after those people kind of weed themselves out, you have your TrueNet community of people that can bring value to each other. And they're just willing to make fun things happen, positive experiences, all making money together, traveling the world together, whatever that might be. So I think it's like a trial and error sort of thing.
Gotcha. Is there like an application or, you know, a process that people have to go through to get accepted into the agency?
Yes.
Or is it like word of mouth kind of thing?
Typically it's referral based, where people send people my way sort of thing. And then I talk with my girlfriend, who's also my business partner, on that agency, and we kind of figure out who we think's a good fit for it, sort of thing. And if maybe it's a mean person that can bring a lot of value that we can leverage, and maybe it's a nice person that doesn't bring a lot of value, but we see potential in them and we want to bring them on board, sort of thing. So.
Yeah, or maybe it's a mean person and you can like slowly...
We can change them.
Literally change the world.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. It's a very difficult industry, and a lot of people let you down and overpromise things. So I always try to underpromise, overdeliver.
Yeah, that's the way to do it in business. Do you have any success stories or anything that you're proud of from Crown Agency that you would like to share?
Yeah, I guess the success story would be from an entrepreneurial standpoint, me being able to leverage far greater audiences than I ever had before, trying to do my music stuff or my other business stuff. The fact that we're bringing in influencers that have millions of eyes on them at all time on social media, and then being able to leverage that to bring value to everybody in the community, or even leveraging that to bring value back to my music, whatever that may be. It's kind of like starting a new festival again, just like bring this new community to life, establishing like what we're here to solve, what the purpose is, and how I can bring value to everybody that's inside of it by using the assets that they bring, right? And
the assets,
absolutely. So one of the biggest goals right now is trying to. There's a big YouTube rush. A lot of people are rushing YouTube. I was one of the dumb people that like never had my eyes on it. Of course, I watched YouTube and learned a ton from it, but I never like saw the value in creating a channel for it.
And I wish I started a YouTube channel earlier.
And how the audiences of YouTube are way more committed to the influencer than say like TikTok or Instagram. Like if you go on Instagram or TikTok, you're going to see somebody and go, oh, I love them. Scroll. What's next?
But if you're committing like 20 minutes to watch a video from one of your favorite content creators, then that's like valuable time these days.
Absolutely. The YouTube platform itself just creates a sense, like if somebody's watching you for 20 minutes, like you said, they almost forget that they don't know you in real life.
Yeah.
So they'll know the name of your dog. They'll know what your favorite color is. They'll know so much more about you than if they would have just seen you on TikTok or Instagram.
And they'll remember it.
Correct. And there's so much more, I don't know if obsessive is the right word, but the YouTube fans are so much more connected, absolutely, to the influencer, whoever the channel is. So our new goal in the future is basically figuring out how we can have content that is, family friendly for all of these influencers, so that we can start attracting larger sponsors that are more legitimate, and kind of building like more of a sustainable brand for all the influencers in the future. And that's the new current challenge.
Yeah, that's the goal, because if you want to work with like big brands, like Nike or, designer brands even, there's certain content that's going to kind of be relevant to their customers. And so, the creators also have to learn how to market to them too, to different types of communities and different types of customers even. So yeah, that's good luck with that. And I have all the faith in you. I feel like, you of all people can do it, because you're good at bringing out the best in people. So I believe in you.
That touched my heart.
Oh.
Thank you. You are too.
Thank you. What do you see? Well, I guess we just kind of talked about that, like how you see the future of online creator communities evolving. So mainly into like YouTube and bigger network advertising, or do you see it going anywhere else?
That is a great question. If you would have asked me that question 3 years ago, I would have given you some crazy answer about the metaverse, about how every creator is a brand and online brands are even more powerful than real life brands these days. So there's a balance to everything, right? But I think continually we're going to see a growth of different cultures online from different platforms that pop up, different communities. And I think that value is going to stay there. It's always going to be the creators that bring a lot of value to the businesses that pay for certain, promotions or something like that. We just have to find better ways to make it like pick out the person's niche, depending on what their personality is, what they want to be. Yeah. Like if you love traveling, we need to film more content of you at resorts, and then you interview people at resorts, and then before you know it, the resorts are paying you.
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know?
I just could sense it in your
What the
eye,
heck?
I guess. I don't know.
That's so weird because I've literally talked about that.
Really?
Haven't I?
Yeah, not in the podcast.
No, I haven't talked about it in the podcast, but that is a goal of mine, is to work with resorts and hotels and like even Airbnbs that, you know, are in like really cool places to help bring more eyes to them, but different set of eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're well on your way too.
Yeah. Well, hopefully sooner rather than later. So I do want to talk a little bit about your podcast journey, and I'm super excited because now we're both podcast hosts. Yay!
Let's go.
What gave you the idea, or what made you even want to start a podcast to begin with?
It was
me, I know.
It was definitely you. And the second thing was drawing back to the conversation about building back from your obituary. What do you want people to remember you by? And mine was, I want to encourage people to be creative and give them the inspiration that they need to not leave behind their normal lives, but venture out a little bit. Be brave and try things that you know won't work, because typically society has taught you a certain way, like act this way and be blended in with everybody else, or be weird and be out there. And typically it's like the weird people that make it big. You have to go against
the grain.
There's a balance. Obviously there's like safety in numbers and like the people that are doing certain things. Like, you're going to encounter different problems if you do weird stuff, but you're also going to encounter like huge breakthroughs. That huge breakthrough, I don't think has happened to me yet, but I think we're both due for it if we just continue and we keep working hard and we don't give up. So I wanted to just interview people who have made that creative breakthrough by doing weird stuff and living life against the grain and just really pursuing something that they believe in. So I have a ton of awesome friends just like you.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just talk to my friends on a podcast? Because they're all cool.
Yeah. Do you have any like big goals for the podcast? Or you're just going to see where it goes?
Just having fun.
Yeah.
And interviewing all the people that I think will speak a lot of positivity into the podcast and would be great for my listeners' ears. Maybe I can have you on the podcast.
Aw, I would love that. Yeah. Well, I think you're going to do great. I mean, anything you touch turns to gold. So yeah, we're doing big things out here, and we're trying to make an impact on the world. And if you put positive energy out, then positive things are going to come back to you. That's what I believe in. What's your motto in life?
I have a couple of crazy mottos, and I don't think any of them are suitable for this. I'll try anything once.
Me too.
That's a good motto.
Yeah, that's one of my mottos. How do you maintain your positive energy?
I get out all my negative energy at home, I guess. I hit the gym. I love the gym. I've had a very healthy lifestyle. And I try to be angry. I think anger is a great emotion if you can harness it. Most of the businesses I've started, I've been angry about something, right? Or some of the best songs I've made, I've been like sad. Angry.
Yeah.
And I think if I can just
strong emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love being out and being connected with people. Whenever I'm around people, I'm the best version of myself. When I'm alone and I can be angry at whatever I'm working on,
get in your feels.
Upset. Yeah, and really channeling those emotions, all the angst or whatnot. That inspires a lot of my creativity. So I just try to keep that in the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And then when I'm outside and I'm with people, I'm shining because the people I'm with are so inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I've never seen you sad or mad. I've only seen you smiling and happy and dancing and being weird and jumping off the walls. So yeah, that's the Brendon that I know.
That's why we mesh so well.
I know, seriously. So I'm going to go to some kind of like more fun questions. And it's funny because I say fun questions, and like the first few times I tried to do fun questions on my interview, on my podcast, they weren't fun, and I thought they were fun to me, and they were just like really deep questions. So these are actually fun.
All right, Mom, this is where you turn the podcast off.
Yeah, no, seriously, no one watch after now if you're a kid. If we leaked your DMs tomorrow, what would be the most scandalous thing that people would see?
I'm a type of person that is so hesitant about saying anything like online. I'm boring, but I'm sure like I've like said stuff to girls in the DMs before that's like sexual, but I've never like gone crazy with something. I'm very, very, what's the right word to use?
Cautious.
Yeah, cautious.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't trust the internet.
Seriously, if you text something, it can always come back to you. Like if it's online, it can always come back to you.
I'm not even worried about now. Like anything can go out now and I'm fine. But like in the future, what's the world going to be like if I'm talking about one thing and that's not appropriate in the future or something? Like who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when you have a family and kids and like certain stuff starts to come out. Have you ever had a stalker?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
I see. I would have assumed that you had like at least one. No,
none that I would label a stalker.
Oh, okay.
I'm talkative with people, so if I get reached out to by somebody, I'll like entertain them and be like, "Hi, how's it going?"
Yeah.
Try to put that good energy out there.
Yeah. So then it doesn't feel weird. You're just like, they're just being friends with me.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not obsessed with me, even though they might be a little obsessed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play at the delusion and I'll be like, yeah, hi.
What's the most amount of money that you've spent in one night and why?
With friends or by myself?
Either.
I probably had a collective of people spend 6 figures one night, just like partying and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been with people that have spent 7 figures in one night.
Wow.
Yeah, but never.
Were you on a yacht in Dubai?
No. It was a festival where there was certain VIP privileges, and somebody bought, I think 40 something bottles of like Dom, or it wasn't Dom, it was some other kind of champagne that nobody really likes, but everybody just buys it and holds it up for pictures.
Yeah.
And it was like the Magnum bottles or something like that. I bought like 40 of them.
Wow.
And they were pouring it out at the end of the festival.
Right.
The guy was just trying to spend money in front of girls.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, man.
Yeah. Just to show, I mean, man, if I had that much money to blow, I don't know. I would probably donate it to like a charity. No, I don't know.
We'd travel with it.
Yeah.
We'd donate a portion of it, travel with a portion of it.
What's the weirdest thing that you've seen while DJing? Or like, let's say you're DJ like a private party. Has anything gone like super freaky?
I only DJ freaky parties, so.
Come on.
We've had a bunch of fun, no Diddy parties, unfortunately, no Diddy parties.
That's good.
But we've had fun parties. Nothing out of the ordinary for the occasion.
Okay.
If that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, I've also been a part of some weird parties.
Yeah.
So.
Been to a lot of LA parties.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't been to LA parties, but I've heard they get really freaking weird over there.
Yeah, especially in like the, what's the correct way? Like the OnlyFans industry. Yeah, they throw some weird parties in a good way and a bad way, depending on who you are.
Right. So now we're gonna go to some fire round questions. Those weren't as exciting as I wanted them to be, but it's fine. It's fine. We're keeping it PG-13. I appreciate that. Fire round. Tacos or pizza?
Tacos.
What's your dream car?
I don't really have one.
Okay.
I don't think about cars enough. See how boring I am?
You're not
Let's
boring.
just say Bugatti Veyron or something cliche.
Okay. Just say a bicycle. No.
E-bike. Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Shrek. I love Shrek.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Favorite scene in Shrek?
Shrek 2. I love at the very beginning when they're like in love and they're doing their honeymooning things. It's
yeah.
Cool. They got the music montage.
Yeah. I haven't watched Shrek in ages. I'm going to have to revisit that.
Yeah.
Favorite sex position?
The Executioner.
No idea what that is. And a song that makes you cry.
I made a video for my girlfriend recently, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. And I like played the song, and the song sounded so sweet. And I started crying. I was like, wow, I'm crying making my girlfriend a video.
Aww.
But it was Wildfire by, can I look it up really quick?
Yeah.
I want to give them the shout out they deserve.
Yeah.
That was a really good video, by the way, for her birthday.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it was so good. I loved it.
Wildfire by Cautious Clay.
Wildfire by Cautious Clay. All right. Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you so much, Brendon. I loved learning more about you. I thought I knew you before, and I just learned so much valuable information and a lot of things that I can even take on to my own new ventures or current ventures. So thank you.
If you ever need any bad ideas, I'm always here.
Yes.
One of them will be good.
Yeah. Bad ideas, good ideas, ideas that can get us in trouble.
Definitely those.
We'll do it all.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.